everybody, I'm Pamela Martinez, and I'm here today to show you how to make an Aeolian wind harp out of a cardboard box. So here's some of the examples I already made, and here's some friends to bring in and play some sounds from our Aeolian wind harp. This is Gustavo. And this is Mark. So these friends have been helping me make Aeolian wind harps all week/month, and it's been a little bit of a challenge. We've done a lot of trial and error. But first, what is an Aeolian wind harp? So a wind harp is anything with strings that is played by the wind. Aeolus was the Greek god of wind, so an Aeolian harp is the same thing as a wind harp. It's an ancient instrument that was popular in the Victorian age. And what you would do, can you bring me one of the complete ones? What you would do is you would stick your Aeolian harp in a window. So imagine this is my window. I would close the window to let the air flow over the strings till it got till about right here. So there's not a lot of space for the air to go through, and when the breeze comes in, it makes the harp hum. And it sounds otherworldly and magical, and I'll let you hear that at the end. But it's very hard to hear because I'll be using a fan, and you mostly hear the fan. But when you hear it in nature, whether it's in your window or there's different looks to Aeolian harps that you can put outdoors, you don't notice the sound of the wind. You notice the sound of the harp. So here's how you make one. The first thing you need is a cardboard box. Now, here is your average cardboard box. But this box is not going to work. You can't just use any box because you don't want the split in the middle. It's harder to make a sound that way. So we're going to save this one for another project or whatnot, and we're going to choose a different kind of box. So here is a cardboard box, but it's got a flat top. In fact, it's flat on all sides. I just happened to paint this one because I've been painting them for fun, for an exhibit. So you've got a flat bottom, a flat top, and it's kind of doubled around the edges, and it closes. So that's how we start. Next, you're going to need some monofilament fishing line. So I've got here a very thin fishing line. It's 10 pounds. And if I pull hard enough, not right now, but I could probably break it, but not yet. So you want something that you're going to be able to really pull tight on. Okay, then we need some scissors. Thank you. Then we need a knife. This is a funny one. Speaking of, this is not a project for kids by themselves. Either an adult should make this or an adult supervising a child. Then you need some gloves. So these gloves that I have are lined on the outside with some kind of rubber, and that helps me pull the wire very tightly. Then we need some pencils or pens. Here's some pencils I have. I painted them too to match my box. And right now, we're not going to need it yet, but you will need a fan to test if your Aeolian harp is working. You could also put it in a window, but that's going to take a while. So the first thing you do is take your box. If you want to decorate it, you've got to decorate it first because it's going to be hard to decorate with your strings on it. Once you've got your box and it's decorated how you like, you want to open your box and look for the grain. You want to look for the corrugation. So I'm looking at the very edge, and I can see that the lines, or you can kind of see if you look very closely that the lines go this way. Whatever way the corrugation goes, that's the way your strings are also going to go. So you want your strings to be parallel to the corrugated lines. So once I see that I'm going to have my strings going this way, then I make a little slit in the box. So you don't need much. You only need you need to go around your box 4 times, so 10 feet. So you don't need the whole thing. And I'm only saying that because if you are around October 25th from 6 to 8 p.m. in San Antonio, Texas at San Pedro Creek Culture Park, I'll be giving away some of this, so you don't have to buy a whole container of it. Okay, once you've got your box and your corrugation, you're gonna take your knife and you're just gonna cut a little slit, tiny slit. This is gonna hold your string in place while you stretch it. So now I take my fishing line and I'm gonna make a loop at the end. I want the loop to have a really, really thick knot. So I don't wanna just make it once, but I'm sending that loop through the knot 4 times. And pulling. Once you've got your loop, then you're gonna put it in the little slot right here. Now, because there's a big knot, it should hold in place better. Sometimes I'll put a pencil through the little loop as well, just in case it pulls through. Now, that's why you need the gloves. To pull this string, if you don't have a glove on, it can tear into your hand or callus your hands. It's much easier to pull on if you've got a very rubbery glove on. Okay, so now, whoop, see it broke through, but I've got my pencil. You just pull very tight and you wrap it around. You can also hear that it really digs into the box. So the box will kind of make its own little hollowing sound. It's my 3rd loop around, and I'm gonna make 4. So on the first one, I went above the pencil, but on all the rest, I'm going under the pencil. That's because I want my string as tight as it possibly can be. Okay. Then once I've gotten to the 4th one, I make it to the back, and I want to connect it through that loop that I originally made. So that takes nimble fingers, and I take off the glove. With my scissors, I'm going to cut my string, but also holding on to it so it stays tight. Ah! Okay. No! I lost it. But that's okay. So I'll take my end and I'll put it through the loop. Once it's through the loop, I stretch it, make it as tight as I can, and I make a thick, thick knot on the back. Okay, so now I've got my strings, and I need my 2 pencils to make bridges at either end. This holds the strings up so that the wind can blow across them. So I just push it under the strings, push one to one side as far as I can, and the other slips in and I push it to the other side as far as I can. So now my harp will play with plucking, but I know, because I didn't do that great of a job at tying this knot, that the strings probably need to be even tighter to make a sound. So sometimes I use a wooden block. So what I'm going to do, you can use anything you want. It could be your hand even, you could pull it. But we really want to try and get these strings super tight. So anything you can fit in there without breaking them is a good idea. Voila. So now this is the back, and I put the piece of wood on the back. My front is still the same, but my strings are tighter. Now we've just got to see if it works. Cut. Okay, we're back. I've got a box fan and our newly finished Aeolian wind harp. Mark, can you bring me the wind reader? So this special device reads how fast the wind blows. And I just wanted to bring this over because the wind harp won't work with just a breeze. It takes quite a bit of air. So I'm going to turn the fan on, and it might be a little loud, but I just want you to see how fast the lowest setting of this fan is. It says it's 7.8 miles per hour. Setting 2 is 10.3 miles per hour. And setting 3 12.5 miles per hour. So that's pretty high winds. And I just want you to take that into account just in case your wind harp doesn't work right away. It needs quite a bit of air to move the strings. So I'm going to explain before I turn it back on so it doesn't get too loud. When you listen to your harp, the air needs to bounce through the strings. So we put it at an angle, 45-degree angle, and it should work. Let's see if it does. This is on setting 2, which was about 10 miles per hour. I don't know if you can hear that, but I can. Here's setting 3. The one thing that I found as a workaround is adding a little hood to it. Gustavo, can you bring me an extra piece of cardboard? And what it does is the hood will funnel the air and create a shape that is much like the window that gets the air to travel just to the right area of the strings. When it has a little hood, it doesn't have to be at an angle, but you can hold it more flat. Thank you, Gustavo. In fact, I need some help. Will you hold the wind harp flat for me? And I'll make a little hood. Got it? All right, here we go. There it is. So you're going to play with the angle before you figure it out. But once you figure out the best angle, you can also glue an extra piece of cardboard and give it a little hood, but it's going to be really, really close. So thank you everybody for learning how to make an Aeolian wind harp with us. All of these wind harps will be on display at San Pedro Creek Culture Park starting October 25th. From 6 to 8 p.m. that day, we are going to have an outdoor sound walk that will feature recorded sounds of Aeolian harps. It will also feature a very large 8-foot Aeolian harp sculpture that I made, and other sound experiments. So these harps will be on display from that time, October 25th, until October 30th. And it is all part of the Luminaria Artist in Process exhibits that are happening this week. We are so thankful to Luminaria, to San Pedro Creek, to the San Antonio River Authority, and to all of the artists that are going to be helping us bring those sounds to life. We hope to see you there. Thank you.